You gotta get up. Body me wake up and make a move. Oh. Cause the world will never see you until you do. They don't really care, see they do you. Oh. So make you show them, baby. Oh yeah, show them the real you. Oh yeah, show them what you get. No, don't let them say what's in other why you strong, oh. You can't bring no. You want more than 1,000 reasons why. You don't need to perfect, baby. Cause nobody perfect, darling. No, there's nobody in the world will be like you.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the Touch Yourself show with Toyin and the gang. When is it right to be able to tell people that you have sickle cell? I have seen situations where the mother has told the child, don't tell anybody outside, don't let anybody know. It's just when you get married, you now reveal it to people. And there's a situation where a mother doesn't know, a wife of somebody living with sickle cell has not told her relatives that she has sickle cell when they got married. So there are so many issues concerning revealing and letting people know about sickle cell. And this edition, we're going to be talking in the Finding Your Voice series about this topic called Help. People don't know I have sickle cell. And with me, I have two lovely guests. I'm glad I have them on board. We're going to break these issues down from different perspectives. And I'll bring them up and introduce you to them one by one. Our first guest is Titi Adenuga.
Fantastic.
She's worked in the oil industry in Nigeria for quite a while before relocating to the UK. She studied radiotherapy. I never knew that's what you studied in the City University before starting work in Cambridge University, but she had to give up her job due to health reasons. She currently runs a foundation, which she'll tell us more about, called Hope for Sickle Cell Foundation, helping people with sickle cell. Then I have my content creator, my writer, my author, my teacher. What do I say about you? my eloquent the project coordinator of competitive standing of management initiative. We're having a feedback. I think go out device. If anybody feedback of me for some reason. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, but you don't hear a feedback.
No.
I do. I can hear the echo.
Can you lower the volume of it? Or remove the yes. Sometimes wearing headphones give feedback.
Well, I can't hear you any longer.
Okay, you're fine now. It's fine now.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Can you remove? Yes. Can you hear me
now? Yes, I can hear you. Yes, I can.
I think it's better with the headphones. Okay, so we have Oyelami on the show. After that introduction. Yeah, so I'm really going to, and this is a topic that is very interesting because we've been talking about finding your voice, and some people feel that, oh, I mustn't tell anybody I have sickle cell, or you've been told by your parents over the years, so it's difficult to break out of that mold to tell people that you have sickle cell. Titi, I'm going to start with you. Growing up, how was it like? When you found out about that you had sickle cell, did your parents encourage you to talk about it, or like a number of people kept it quiet for a while before you now told people?
Um, well, growing up, I didn't think I was different,
Mm,
you know. I just felt, yeah, I get ill, and everybody seemed to accept that and move on. I didn't know it as a label that I had
mm,
something. I guess I wasn't clued on enough to know that um I had health challenges or anything. I know I felt ill quite a lot, but that was about it. You just played in school and you had a fab time. And sometimes you try to use your shoe to get the fruit up in the tree. And it was a brilliant childhood. So you were no different from the other person. I thought,
mm,
you didn't come to school very often. But when
yeah,
you came, everybody was happy to see you. And you just you just blended up again like you'd never been away. And so I didn't know the word. Well, I'd heard of it. My
mm.
parents had spoken about it, but it didn't impinge on my consciousness. Yeah, let's put it like that.
Would you say it was because of the way that your parents introduced you to it, or you just couldn't be bothered?
Okay. Um, Tony, like you, my father was also a medical practitioner,
Okay.
but he was an O&G man and your father was a surgeon. So they
Yeah.
just took it matter of fact.
Mm, exactly.
Everybody has something wrong with them kind of thing. So
Mm,
this is just your share of what's wrong with you, they'll tell me, oh, God doesn't create anybody with everything. So this is your own like shortcoming. So get on with it. So that was it. It was a case of get on with it. So I didn't speak to people about it because I didn't know about it myself. I didn't
mm, mm,
know, you know, I didn't know it as a label, as something wrong. Yeah, there were a lot of admissions, but I
yeah.
thought everybody had that because sometimes your reality is what you think everybody's reality is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's just what I thought. Yeah, that's how people are, and that's it.
Okay, Yomi, for you, how was it?
Oh,
Did you know
fantastic.
from the beginning,
Can you get
or yes, I can hear you.
all right, fantastic. So thank you very much, Auntie, for this opportunity. I people don't mind me. This is black to the bone, so that's why my face is like that. Don't worry. So we'll manage. We'll cope. So growing up with sickle cell for me was it's a mixed bag. I just got to know. I think I got to know early. I didn't. The diagnosis was already made before when I started schooling and everything. So it was a mixed bag. Sometimes you find out you can't go to school. Sometimes you're able to go to school. But every time you go to school, you always find out you are just blazing them, you are just beating them. By the end of the term, you are the first, you are the second, something like that. So I just wonder why it's like that. So that's how growing up for me was like. I didn't spend too much time in the hospital so much like that growing up, except if I
Mm,
travel out of my comfort zone where my family is, because I think they've understood how to manage me, and we always have like doctors around or nurses around that can help in cases like that. So that's how it is for me growing up. So it's a mixed it's a mixed situation for me. And talking about probably people look at you like you are different or something. Yeah, I think so. We like everybody, we did street football on the street of Agege. You play ball, play ball. Your mommy will tell you, please don't play ball. No problem, I will play. I don't want everyone to look like me, like a small, like I'm just a CC. So, but at the end of the day, just by 1 o'clock, something is just waking you. Papa, papa, you are having pains around your body. Mommy, please help me now, and all this. So that's how it
okay.
is for me growing up.
But did any of you at any point in time feel that, okay, even though I'm going through this, I don't want people to know about it, I'm keeping it to myself?
Hmm.
I don't think
Well,
it's a decision you consciously make.
Yes, exactly.
I don't
But
think
did
it's
you
a decision
consciously?
you consciously make. I remember growing up that wherever I was, hour on the hour, the house help will come get me and bring me back home to give me a drink. So they had put in place measures to ensure that I was always well hydrated. They didn't leave it to me as a child that she will drink water by herself. No, they had like, I guess my parents, because they were both medical, they had like structures in place. This is how we're doing it. This is how we're handling it. This is what's going to happen. So every hour, wherever she's playing anywhere, go and get her, bring her back home and ensure she takes milk or Milo or something. But she has to drink something, right? Bena, it didn't matter. But you had to keep you had to keep hydrated. So I guess that was the first clue then, that they always came to get you and picked you up from wherever you were playing. I guess that was the first clue. But apart from that, I, I, I don't think people noticed, I guess, because I've always been really thin. I had those like yellowish jaundice eyes, and I wasn't very well. I was never very well. I wasn't somebody you would call very well growing up. So um people kind of knew. They didn't know what it was. I guess other children didn't know what it was, but they knew that there was something wrong. And like, I was the child that if I had any pain and was crying in class, they would immediately take to the sick bay. So
Mm.
I guess there was a bit of knowledge in with my classmates that, okay, this one when she gets ill is more than we can handle. She's not the one we can say, it's okay, you know. This one is going to be a bit more than we
oh
can
my.
handle. So this one needs to go to the sick bay to see the doctor or the nurse. So, but I don't think I consciously spoke about it because people just didn't. I don't know why, but we just didn't. We didn't speak about it. We knew
Yeah,
there
you're
was
right.
something wrong. We knew there
Yeah.
was something wrong, but we didn't speak about it. I guess it was the elephant in the room. We didn't speak about it. No.
Mm.
Because I asked my father, I remember when I was 14, I asked my father, I said, is this a disease? Because I don't know, but it never struck my consciousness that I had a disease, because
Mm.
disease to me is something that led to death. Then somebody has like cancer and they have a disease. So then I asked him, I said, is this a disease? And then he looked at me and he nodded his head and he says, yes, it's a disease. I guess that was the first time I
Mm.
knew that, okay, um
This is
I have a
serious.
big health challenge. Yes, that was the
Mm.
first time. And I was like in my mid teens by then. Yeah, because I was like, is it a disease? And he was like, yes, it is. So
Mm.
yeah.
So
Okay, for
for
me,
your
yes, for me, on that perspective, I think my parents knew, haven't diagnosed early, and they also met a couple of doctors who told them about sickle cell. But I don't think people around me really knew that it was
mm.
called sickle cell or something like that. I feel for many of the adults then, they used to think I have what we call rheumatism. Rheumatism
Okay.
Yes,
is
they
what
said that a
happens
lot.
to
They said
Yes,
that a
rheumatism is
lot.
what happens to many people that they have bone pains and all this. So they
Yeah.
always like,
Yeah,
what's happening is rheumatism. Please let's get him a goat so that it will make him to be strong and all
yes,
these things. Another thing
yeah.
for my colleagues what they notice is the yellowness or in my eye. So they just feel probably something is wrong or something like that. So that's just basically, but it didn't stop me from maybe participating in more of the things I need to participate. Then I don't think I experienced a time that I had to be rushed from school home. It was always probably most times in the night. So if I wouldn't
Yeah.
go to school, that means I wouldn't go at all. So they didn't get to know. They just went, we didn't see this guy today. So probably tomorrow or next tomorrow he's going to be back and things like that. So that's how
And
it
nobody
was.
ever asks you guys that, what's happening? You don't come to school. We don't see you. I know for me, it was more of, an expectation. She's out of school again. So if they saw me, she's here. She's out of school again. So for you guys, did you ever have that, come on, you're always not available. What happened?
So I think the teachers knew. They knew what was happening. My parents
Mm,
told them what was happening. So in case they didn't see me in school, they know. But for the children, my mates, I don't think they know so much like that. They just like,
mm.
okay, if he's not around, they can come and pay me a visit. I think he's sick and something like that. They don't really know what is happening. Just like if he's not around, probably he's sick, they come home and say hi to me. And that's how it is. So
Yeah. Okay. So, Titi, I'll come back to you. By the time you entered secondary school, I mean, it's a different ball game from primary school. I know primary school people are still a bit nice, innocent, and all that. But by the time you get to secondary school, what was your experience? Because first of all, I'll ask you the famous question: boarding school or day school?
Both.
Both. Wow. So what was your experience and how did you handle situations among your friends and everything when it came to uh, you know, falling sick, especially in boarding school?
They rushed me home a lot in boarding school. They rushed me home a lot. Um, the school had an ambulance that was almost like a second home to me. It was really familiar. We had familiarity going on with the school, with the ambulance. So yes, they took me. It I went home a lot, but for most of the time, I only went to boarding school for 1 year, and that was like enough. And then, I was a day student for the rest of it. So, you know, I guess the school were like, boarding house is not suitable for her. And I think my parents agreed. So, they are firm believers. My parents are firm believers in boarding school, but if you can't hack it, you can't hack it. If you physically cannot hack it, you can't hack it. So there's some who do very well with boarding school, as who live with sickle cell, and there are others who don't. I was one of those who didn't do well in boarding school. I guess I didn't drink enough. I wasn't well hydrated enough. I wasn't I didn't know how to I didn't I didn't eat enough in boarding school. So there were a lot of things that were already basically wrong. If you're not drinking enough, you're not eating enough with sickle cell, you're going to have a lot of crisis. You're going to go into crisis a lot. So yeah, I I might not make it to dining hall. I might get to dining hall and my food had been eaten. There were just so many things that. So it didn't work in the long run. But yeah, I guess people knew because you only had to see me ill once to know that there's something very wrong. So I guess yeah, my friends would know because they would see me on my bunk bed and they will take me to the sick bay. So yeah, they knew, and I guess it was a matter of fact, very matter of fact. She's ill. She's gone home. That's it. She's not. She's not. She's not going.
But you
She's
never
not
never
coming.
had a conversation with them that, This
No,
is
no,
what I'm
no. We
doing.
never ever had a conversation.
Wow.
Never ever. I don't think I've ever
Wow.
ever until I was working. I don't and I mean I had
Really.
graduated and I was working. I
Mm.
never had a conversation about sickle cell with anybody.
Was it a subconscious thing of uh,
I don't
there's no need
know.
for people to know,
Even
or you
even
just
if
felt
I said I wasn't
uncomfortable?
ill, even when I said
Mm,
I was ill, teachers will tell
mm,
me that I shouldn't say anything. I shouldn't tell people that I'm ill. I guess some of it is part of the Nigerian psyche that you mustn't tell
mhm.
people your shortcomings, or you mustn't tell, you don't know who you are going to tell and is going to rejoice. I don't know. Or they do have their secret code going in Nigeria concerning the things they don't want to talk about. Yeah, don't say it, oh, don't say that. Ha, you will say that you are well. You will say that. No, I feel crap. Don't tell me to say I'm well when I don't feel well. They'll tell
Yeah,
you not to
yeah.
say. So it wasn't my parents who told me not to say it or anything. But, teachers, I guess, who were maybe they thought that it was the Christian thing. Let the poor say I am
It's,
rich. That kind of thing we have going.
Mm.
So I think maybe it was more a couple of teachers, but my parents never thought don't have a conversation with anybody about it, or no, they were never like that. Yeah.
Okay, so Yomi, how was your experience? I
yeah.
know you
So
said that
for me,
just
for
IT.
me, I didn't even try. There's nothing like boarding school in my house. You have to go to day school. My mom will not even allow it. That oh mommy law, my child is going to. She will not allow it at all. So I believe she really played a role in helping me pass through those early days. Actually,
Mm,
so I didn't try it at all. The school that I went to, primary school, was about 5 minutes away from my house. It was public school though.
Okay.
The
mhm.
secondary school that I also went to was about 15 to 20 minutes away from home. So I always trek back and forth every day. It wasn't a far distance at all. So if anything is going to happen, my friends in school will know and they can help me come home. So I think just a very, I don't have many friends like that. Of course, a lot of people know me because of how my probably educational capacity and everything. But I think I just have a couple of friends around me who were able to know my situation. They knew what I was passing through. Of course, I didn't know so much then, but I actually was able to tell them that this is what's happening. This is sickle cell. I didn't know a lot about it then. It was even one of the teachers that I worked, my teacher in church, that told me about the bone marrow for the first time. Was the one that told
Wow.
me about the bone marrow. That's where the blood cells are being produced and everything. So he was trying to talk to me about faith and everything. So that's why when Titi was talking about let the poor say I'm rich and all this, I'm able to. So it's a balance of the thing. We as Christians want to tell people that we are strong even when we're weak, and then but at the same time we also want people to know what's happening. So it's a
Mm.
mix of the mix of it actually. So it was my teacher that made me know about the bone marrow. So ever since he told me about the bone marrow, I started reading myself gradually like that. From integrated science, I was able to know a couple of things like that. So gradually it was just like that. So I was able to now communicate with a few friends. I think I can count my friends. I can count them. I don't have so many friends like that I can call real friends. Of course, we have acquaintances that we play with and all that, but real friends that I'm close with, that we go to school together, we come back home together. Because in public school, that's the way we move. Every time you go to school, you can't go alone. You always have to go and meet one guy at the end of the street so that you can walk together and walk back home at the afternoon. So that's how it's been for me through primary school and secondary school like that. So we always just work together like that. So if they notice that I'm not coming to school, they already know what's happening. So they can now choose to tell the others that, oh, he's not coming to school today or not. So they can choose that. But practically I was able to just navigate those secondary school time and primary school time like that. So but talking about when I started talking to people about sickle cell, I think it's from secondary school. As soon as I got to know that it's actually something about the bone marrow that produces the blood cells, I think from there, I started telling people about sickle cell, even though I didn't know so much. So, but the little I knew, I started building on it, and gradually I started getting more knowledge from about it and everything. So that's how it came to be that I started. That's how I started advocacy.
Well
I did.
done.
So that's how I started advocacy concerning sickle cell. I think probably from primary, from let's say from GSS1, thereabouts. GSS1, that's the first year in secondary school. That's where I started. So, and gradually, whatever I know, I tell people about the blood cell, I tell them about white blood cell, the red blood cell, and little by little, I got to know more about the shape, that it's actually a sickle shape named after a farm implement called sickle. And so gradually, as I started building on my knowledge, gradually till I got to the university, and I really, in fact, in the university, I was now very vibrant about it. I wasn't even hiding any longer. I was telling people a lot about it. People started meeting me about it and things like that. So that's how I got into advocacy and everything. So sickle cell has been quite a journey for me personally. It's quite been a journey for me, educating people about it, getting people aware about it. So I make bold about it. But I still find out that some people still don't know yet about me. For example, one thing for me is this: when I go to a place, I don't tell people that I live with sickle cell from the word
No,
go.
no.
I just start working, I start working and start working. Okay, but if it happens that I was sick and I can't come, I tell them, okay, this is what is happening. I'm sick today, please, I won't be able to come. For example, last week, Wednesday, I can recount this very well. I can recount this very well. There's a woman I used to teach there, is our children. I think that was, yeah, 2018 thereabout. That was when I used to teach the children. I go there. So this is what I do when I was teaching from 7 in the morning till 4 o'clock. That's the school time. From there, I go to homes. So I can do 2 hours here, do another 2 hours here before I now come back home, I think around 8 p.m. in the night.
Mm.
So I go there like that every day. So when I went there on after the radio show on Wednesday, Touch Itself, I just got this phone call. It's been a while. This woman called me. What's happening? Okay. The second time, I didn't pick it. We were on the road. So the second time, now we are in the bus. Okay, let me just pick this call. So that's how I picked it. And she now told me, I didn't know. Please let me ask you a question. I don't want to see it as offensive. She said, I don't want you to see it as offensive. Okay, do you live with sickle cell? I said, yes, I live with sickle cell. And he was shocked. So he said, how have you been able to cope? I said, it's glory of God and everything. And I told her about everything that we do in SAMI and how we've been working over in the past 12 years. She told me about a friend, how do I call it now? The daughter, a friend in school that lives with sickle cell too, and that she would like the person to join us and everything. I said, this is what we do. We are ready to take on the challenge. And if the person is not convinced enough, you can actually invite me to come and talk to them. That is what we do. So, so that's the way it is for me.
But let me ask this question. Before, I know you said you started with friends. How did
Yes.
your friends come and ask you, Kilo, what's happening? Why are you like this? Or you just told them like that? And what gave you the, how will I call it, courage? Because I know a lot of people have that issue, that even my best friend, like I interviewed somebody a while back, and his best friend did not, all the years they've known each other, secondary school and all. He said it was just some months back that he told the friend that he had sickle cell because he had difficulty talking about it. So for you, what made you just say, okay, I'm going to tell these people that I have sickle cell?
I think it was from the differences that we had. They knew that their eyes were white, mine was yellow.
Mm,
So for some people
mm,
who are very inquisitive, they just ask me, why is your eye always yellow? So for people who understand Yoruba, they will say some people used to taunt me then. Now Ojo Pokokoma and something like that. Something like your eye is just so yellow, but it's not going blind. So what's happening? So from there, I started talking about it. I tell them, okay, this is why it's yellow and the rest. So I got to know about Billy Rubin and all these things. So gradually, I started telling them that what I just need is your support. Like you know what I can do. When we're in the exam, or what I can do when it comes to mathematics or anything. What I can do. So don't worry, I can participate in all this very well. But I need your support. If I tell you I can't come to school today, please understand. If I tell you that okay, you can go to school, I will join you later. Don't worry. So don't worry, and that's how it has been for me. So
Wow.
that boldness, I don't think I planned it. It came from questions of people. Why are you like this? And you don't want to be offensive. You don't want people to, of course, you don't have many friends already. So if you now start attacking them, how do you now get more friends? So,
Exactly.
so I got to now that's how I started being diplomatic about the thing. Okay, do you want to learn? I don't want to argue. If you want to learn, I'm going to tell you what I know. And so that's how I
Mm,
started gradually with one, with two, then till the time that I was now able to make bold to tell people I can stand in front of like 100 people, 200, and like that. So that's how it
that's
is.
wonderful. That's good. Somebody says the jaundice eyes is what actually gives us away. Well,
Yeah.
most of us, not all of us. Some of us don't have that, but it's one of the challenges.
It's one of the
So, Titi,
challenges.
for you, by university, you started having these issues of talking about it. So, how did you start talking about it? There's a echo again. I don't know from where.
Yes, there's an echo.
Okay. All right. That's it. Okay, it's still there. Okay. All right. Titi, did you hear the question?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Um, University was another kettle of fish.
There's there's still an echo for some reason.
Hello?
I don't know why there's
Is
an
it
echo.
better now?
Sorry?
Is it better now?
No.
You still have that echo.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is is there still an echo? I don't know. We sorted it out.
Okay, let's try again.
Okay.
No, we're still there. Well, let's try and see how we just carry on.
Okay. So in university, you're not living together.
Titi, we're not hearing you again.
Can hear you, Titi.
Can you hear me better
Can
now?
you turn on something?
Can you hear me better now?
Let me do something. Hold on. Okay. All right. Say something. It's still there. Maybe it's from your end, Titi.
You,
Okay. No. I know. Okay. I think I got it.
yes, you have.
It's from your Miss end, yeah.
Yeah. So, um, in university is a different kettle of fish. You're now living in close proximity with a whole load of people, and now you really they know because you're living together with them. It's not like you're living at home, so they only see you for a few hours. Now you're living all day every day with strangers who become friends, and people who will rise up when there's trouble. So a few people, as you said, well, if you have sickle cell, one, I don't know, but I think one of our characteristics is that we're extremely stubborn, and then we have some of the sharpest tongues on the face of the earth. So your friends are not going to be legion. It's never going to be legion. Just, I'm one of those who thinks that being stubborn and being resolute is a good thing because it gives you the necessary grit to be able to fight all the challenges that come your way. So I'm not one of those that think, oh, it's a shortcoming. I actually think of it as a positive. I also think that the power of our tongue is also a positive because it makes us able to speak up, especially when you're not being treated right. When you're on admission and you think, no, this is wrong, this is so wrong, you have what is necessary to say, um, I think we need to do this now. I think this is not the proper treatment path we're going down on because this does not suit me. So we have the ability to speak up. So I like that about us. But as you said, in university, I'm now living with people and I'm dependent on them to a large extent. So I guess the first inklings of yes, I have sickle cell. That's the first time you're actually speaking about it with somebody else. That so that when you fall ill in your halls of residence, they know to either take you to the what did we call it, health center, or they take you home. It's that simple. It's one of the two. For me, they always generally took me home. My friends, they'll just get a taxi, put me we'll get home, and once we get home, then they know that once they get me home, my parents will sort out everything, the taxis, the everything. So just put me in a taxi, get me home, and everything will be reasonably fine. So then so I think that was now the first time I actually had a conversation with my friends about sickle cell. Yeah. I hadn't had any conversations prior to that, Has Tony gone off?
I was because you tend to be it's cutting half of your face. I remove myself so that
Okay, yes,
show you more because at
yes,
the moment half of your face is gone.
yes,
So I try and remove myself so I show you more.
yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about. Oops, did I accidentally removed? I was going to unmute him. Yes. So okay, I think the problem is from your end, your me. I don't know why it's bad. Is there another device
No.
in the room? When I mute you, you don't have the issue.
Okay.
I don't know what is different now than when we started.
Wow. Nothing.
Okay, let's just try and see how we can manage.
Perhaps if you mute him and unmute him again.
Very heavy, right? The
No, it's
echo is
not.
very heavy.
Okay, try again.
Is the echo very heavy?
No, this is still there.
Still there.
Yeah, very heavy.
Wow.
Okay. Did you put back the headphones?
Yes, I already removed it. I removed it since.
Okay. Anyway,
I think it's sorted.
okay, we'll work with it. It's still there, but we'll still work with it so that Okay, so
Okay, so my
my question will
my
be that,
question would be
okay,
that,
when
okay,
you
when
see
you
somebody, yeah,
somebody,
somebody is saying,
somebody
I have
I have
difficulty
difficult
um,
um
trying to
trying
tell people
to tell
about
people
sickle
about
cell,
sickle cell
or tell my
or tell
neighbor
my
about sickle
neighbor
cell, or
about sickle
telling my
cell,
cousin
my
about sickle
cousin
cell.
sickle
What
cell.
would you
What
say,
would you say
uh,
uh
some
some
basic
basic
things
things
that the person
that
can
the
do
person
to be
can
able
do
to
to be
open
able
up?
to open up?
I'll start with
I'll
you,
start with
Yomi.
you, Yomi.
The basic things that the person can do to start opening up. Is that what you mean?
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
All right.
yes.
All right. So from my own perspective, what I do is, if I know that you have a big role to play, probably as a support system for me, I would have to talk about it. For example, when I got to the university, the people that I was living with, I needed to let them know what's happening, so that in case I ever have any issue of crisis or anything, they know what to do. And so wherever I go, even when I went to the NYC during the camp, I needed to look for people around me, just a couple of people. In fact, what I do is, when I get to a place like that, I always try and look out, can I find a doctor around this place? Can I find a nurse around this place? So that in case I ever have this thing like that, that's what I do. So then people, maybe a couple of people that I stay with, one or two people, so that in case anything happens, they can know what to do. Probably take me to the health center, or if there's a doctor around, they can call the doctor. If there's a nurse, they can call the nurse. So that's what happens basically. But if you are just a regular person, I don't think I would even bother, except if you come to me and you ask me. That means you want to know, you have that inclusiveness, you want to know, then I'll tell you about it. So that's the way I work around it. So what do you do to actually have the confidence to start telling people about sickle cell? What you do is, you just have to, you know that this is what you live with. And except for a miracle, it's not going to change. So
Mm.
the people who are support system around you, if you don't want to tell anybody around, you have to tell those people. You have to make the point of view, you have to tell those people. Because when crisis comes, you cannot handle it alone.
Mm.
So your parents, or maybe if you are not staying with your parents, your relatives that you are staying with, your friends that you are staying with, they need to know. This one is not about being proud, or you want to be arrogant, or you want to be shy. These people need to know, because it's a matter of life and death. If they don't know, it can be disastrous. So you need to let those people know. Now, people around you, if you find that there are some people around you that really want to know about sickle cell, you can also talk to these people about it. You don't go about telling people, I live with sickle cell, I live with sickle cell, like that. You don't go about, so that you don't, for example, you don't start reducing your chances of getting things. For example, when I was going to get jobs, when I go to get jobs, that's not the first thing I tell them.
Mm.
That's not the first thing I tell them. I just go there based on my competence and what I can offer, what I can bring to the game. That's what I tell them. Now, as time goes on, I can tell them, probably sometimes you start feeling these pains, you start feeling this thing. It's not so serious that you need to go to the hospital, or you need to do anything. So from there, I would have started building relationship to know the kind of people I can speak with on this. These people are now going to be the support system that I'm going to have around me in that environment. So those people, I
Yes.
start telling them about, do you really understand do you even know what's called sickle cell at all? So from that way I'll start. That's how I start. Then from there we start building the conversation gradually, like that. And then there are some people who, maybe looking at the physical stature, they can say, I want to know what's really happening. Are you okay? Some people can be that blunt. So from there, okay, okay, no problem. Then we talk about it, and like that. For example, I remember one situation when I was in a school like that. They didn't know, nobody knew about this. Or maybe some people know and they are not confident to come and ask me. It was until a certain June 19, when we had a World Sickle Cell Day, that I met a journalist who said he wanted to do something around me, about me, and that he's going to follow me all through the entire day. That's how they got to know that I actually live with sickle cell. So those children were just shocked that, uncle, so you live with sickle cell and all these things. So that's how I got to know that some of them even have neighbors or they have family members who live with sickle cell. And from there we started talking about it more. So you just have to, if you know that this person is a support system, you need to tell them. You need to, it's a need. You need to tell them. But if there are some people who feel that they are inquisitive or they want to learn, they don't want to argue, they are not trying to pull you down. Those people you can also tell them. So that's how you grow in confidence.
Okay, so what I'm taking from you is that we have to be very informed of our condition before we even start talking about it.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So Titi, it's over to you. Now you started an NGO. I know you were not vocal before, but by the time you started the NGO, of course you are more vocal.
I've never been vocal about
Yeah.
sickle cell. Let's not. I've never ever been. Um, I
Mm,
went to serve, and when I went to serve, unfortunately, I fell ill, and they gave me. This was in Akwa Ibom. And please let me put it on note that my parents told me not to go to Akwa Ibom, that you live in Lagos. People with living with sickle cell are supposed to serve in their state of origin, so we can get this sorted. I was like, they don't want me to live my life. So after I went to Akwa Ibom, I took the flight to Calabar, and then we got to Obubra. Oh God. So anyway, I fell ill, and they gave me blood that wasn't properly screened,
no,
and I got septicemia.
story of my life.
And then, yes, and then I started using crutches. So that became a bit of a giveaway. Well,
Oh,
everybody
you're
can see there's
freezing.
something. Okay, everybody can see there's something not right. Is it okay now?
It's a bit breaking.
I
Uh,
don't know what.
yeah, it's. I think it's better. Try again.
Okay, so when I got septicemia, I started walking with two crutches, and that became, it made people, there's something not quite right, because now it's announcing you're announcing yourself with two crutches. So obviously,
Mm,
so they redeployed me back to Lagos, and I fortunately, I was now serving with an oil company, one of the major oil companies. And when they took a look at me, they were so scared. They were like, "You need to go home, rest, and then come back in another month and let us assess if you can start work." It was that bad, because by that time I had fallen to 28 kilograms. So it was really,
wow.
yeah, it was really a bad time in my life. So I went off, came back, started working in the oil company. Well, started serving with them, and then they retained me. So the oil company there's a whole floor. There are like 19 floors. The On the marina, one of the floors is the medical center. So I became, I
Their
didn't.
visitor.
Yes, I didn't tell the people around me, but they knew
Wow.
in the clinic. They knew in the clinic that what was up, what was wrong, and everything. And that was the start of having a conversation about sickle cell. I still didn't speak about it I'm not going to tell you I have sickle cell unless you directly confront me. And I am not going to have a conversation, even when you directly confront me. I'm not going to have a conversation with you about it. I'll just say, yes, I have sickle cell, and I move on. I'm not going to tell you, do you know about it? Do you know? Now, people ask me, can you talk to this person who also has sickle cell? Aha, I will do that. But I don't talk about me and sickle cell. I don't, it's a label that I don't work with. I still don't work with. So unless it comes to a time when you're telling me, speak about it, then I would speak about it. And then if there are people who tell me, I want to know more, I have a child who does this, I have, yes, then I, but it's not a topic I bring up voluntarily. Let me put it like that. It's not something I'd walk up to you and tell you, or no. You have to approach me and then ask me, can you speak to this person, or can we do this? Then I would speak about it.
Exactly. Yeah. So from what I gather, there are different ways to be able to approach the issue. The most important thing is that whatever you're doing it to not only just help yourself or help the other person. Like you gave your example that you tell it because you want to advocate, and you found it comfortable talking about it. You are doing the same advocacy, but you're doing it in an indirect way, in that it's people who approach you based on their knowledge of what you have said in the past. That, oh, I want you to help this person, I want you to help that person. So there's no one size fits all. That's what I'm taking away from this. Because I know a lot of people always come and ask me, oh, I remember when I started talking about sickle cell, especially with my book. Because for your information, that's another way of telling people about it. Write a book. Write a book about your experience with it. I don't write a book because I always, like, we're talking about this, the challenge of a one side story about sickle cell. Don't necessarily write it about in terms of woe is me, or write it as more like an educative, inspirational thing, so that people will be more informed and have a better knowledge of it. So there are different ways of, for what I hear from you, is there different ways of telling people about sickle cell. Whether it's starting with your nucleus support system, and if you want to go into advocacy, you can choose to blare it out like a microphone if you wish, or you can choose to do one-on-one counseling. Yomi
Okay.
is laughing. Sorry.
One thing, one thing I will tell you is that we hold a fundraiser every
Yeah.
year
Mm.
for sickle cell. At that event, I speak about it.
Yeah.
So they do tell me to come to schools, or, just talk of things, because we always try and invite the the CEO of the Sickle Cell Society, the mayor, everybody comes. It's
Mm.
usually a packed event. And so at that point, I do talk about it. And
Yeah.
because I talk about it there, it
Avenues. Yeah.
opens a lot of avenues for you to talk about it. But as I said, it's not something like on a day-to-day basis that I talk about. No, I don't.
Exactly.
No.
Yeah, even for me, I mean, I was telling somebody that if not for the fact of what I do, I'm the type of person, you don't see me, except if I have to do something about, okay, to help somebody, to put on social media. Until we started having our own business handle, it was really difficult. I like keeping myself private, but I learned that my not talking is not helping another person. That's how I now started coming out to talk about it,
Mhm.
because I found out that I was helping another person, which I did not realize I was. So that's giving me more confidence. So at time, as I told you, we would always talk and talk and talk and talk. I wanted to share something with you from somebody. Today Balogu said, But it's the same thing repeated. I was at the age of 25 when I knew I had sickle cell, and never sick for once, except when I was okay. I think he's trying to say that he never talked about it for once. Yeah, I found out that people learn at different ages. I read about an American lady who didn't know she was in till she was in her 30s that she had sickle cell, and she didn't really have any complications or anything like that to show that it was obvious. But she said that it's when, so I think, is it that when she gave birth something happened, and then she suddenly started having crises and difficulties, and that's how they knew she had sickle cell. And I know somebody who found out in his teens, so it's not everybody's experience of sickle cell. And sometimes there's even one I knew that they said that the person found out, and immediately the person found that the person started feeling sick. So I said, was that a psychological issue? Was that a psychological issue, or so that is it. But it's been fun. What I would say is, any last word? I'll start with Titi. To those living with sickle cell who just want to educate people more about sickle cell, and I'll start with Titi, then I'll come to Yomi. Yomi, you seem to have muted yourself. So when I'm ready, I'll tell you to unmute mute yourself. So Titi, final words.
Well, it's not going to be a bed of roses.
Mm,
Sickle cell isn't. Living with it isn't. Talking about it isn't. I find it difficult to talk about it. Other people might find it easy. I can't tell you that this is what's going to work for you. So that's just, but start with your nuclear group to talk about it, how
mm,
you feel,
exactly.
what help you might need, you know. And I think you should start small, and then it'll be like dropping a stone in a pond. The ripple effect of that, you don't know where it will take you. But start with your nuclear circle.
Okay. All right. So Yomi.
All right. So from my end, I would say, for me, what I know, I want to teach it. So that has actually helped me a lot. Not just sickle cell. Most of the things I know, I always try and teach it. Because I feel that the more I teach it, the more it reinforces my belief, the more it reinforces my strength. So that's what I found out about myself. So I don't try to hide it. If you don't want to hear, no problem, I will not tell you. But if you really want to learn about this thing, I will tell you. In fact, there are a lot of people, they didn't even, it's not even the conversation of sickle cell that made me to talk to them about it. It was probably an issue, a life issue, probably they're having failure and all these things. So and then I want to encourage them. So from there, I can start using my personal experience to talk to them that if I can do this and I can do this, so why do you want to feel dejected and all this? And so that's how I've been able to move through all these things through life. I've been able to tell a lot of people and all these things. And people that don't know about me yet, well, I'm still on the journey to tell them. So if you are still doubting that your lives with himself, today I've announced, though, thank God for Auntie Toyin that has brought me to the camera. On my social media, what I shared was what I shared when I was telling people about this was um from from behind the keyboard. Anthony has brought me to the front of the camera to come and talk about sickle cell. And so that's the way it is. I don't I can talk about a lot of things, but not the camera. But coming to the front of the camera today is like a thrilling experience for me. Thank you very much, Anthony, for this.
You're welcome. I wanted to. Somebody said.
I wanted to. Somebody
Only
said,
talk about it to people who are very
don't
close
talk
to,
about it to people who
not
are very.
every one of them. Which is basically what we're trying to say. You start with your nucleus. Like like Titi said, start with the people who are near you, your friend, your cousin, a neighbor. Start with that. Then gradually, if you want to do more, you equip yourself with the knowledge, because it's once you have the knowledge, you can have the confidence to be able to talk about it. But if you don't have a single knowledge about what sickle cell is about, breaking it down into smaller bits for people, you might have a challenge talking about it. And then as you get enough knowledge, you get enough confidence, and then if you want, you can now start talking about it. Even in my, as I told you, even in my own, people think, oh, I talk about it a lot. No, I don't. I only talk about it because I am invited, or I need to, because I know somebody needs to be blessed by that message. So no matter how small the information you have, just start with the people around you, and it will grow from there. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you, Yomi and Titi, for being with us this past exactly 1 hour. Thank you for Nana from Ghana, from the Eliza Rosa Sickle Cell Foundation. Thank you for joining us. And thank you everybody else who came and listened to us. The most important thing is to personally find our voice and continue telling the story of sickle cell, whichever way you can, and make the world a better place. Have a lovely, lovely, lovely weekend, the rest of the weekend, and a fruitful week ahead. Thank you once again, Titi and Yomi.
Thank you
Bless.
for having us.